Warning, I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised. So essentially looking into Scott Baio and Nicole Eggert, it's kind of a he said, she said thing. So who do you believe, you know? But we can also look what others have said. So here's a few things that people have said about Scott Baio.
Round one, fight!
The only thing that I really want to know is where Chachi is.
All right, now I just did a show with him that was on VH1. That was, did you see it?
I did watch that.
Everyone did.
And I hear that there was a secret revealed on there too.
You know, I gotta tell you something though. Now, when we were younger, okay, now this is weird. It wasn't revealed on the show, but he is 7 years behind in growth. So that goes everywhere. And now, let me tell you something.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, you know, I said it, this thing was small, and it was at that time, but he's 7 years behind in growth. And he thought that that's why we broke up when we were, you know, together, and that wasn't it. I come from a very dysfunctional family. Scott said he wanted to marry me, and it scared me to death because my parents didn't get along, and I went, I don't want to get married. But like I said, they did the best they could, like all parents do, and we can't judge, right? Can't point the finger. So I got scared and said, I want to break up. Of course, he thought it was his. It wasn't.
He was 7 years behind in growth? Why didn't I think of that excuse?
Round two, fight!
The former Happy Days heartthrob thought that Erin had died from a heroin overdose and said this on an LA radio show.
You do drugs or drink, you're going to die. And I'm sorry if that's cold, but God gave you a brain.
You would have assumed that's what it was because of all the stories about Erin. And that's what I went with.
When it turned out Erin actually died from stage 4 throat cancer, this is her last photo, Scott Baio was savaged on social media. If Scott Baio wasn't such a has-been, he might have had the wherewithal to help his former co-star. And worst of all, so sad Scott Baio outlived Erin Moran.
I should die instead of her? Really? I mean, I jumped the gun. Okay. Am I a horrible human being?
Erin ended her days living in this trailer park, where Inside Edition found her in 2012.
I'm doing great. So what do you want?
Scott told me he still has warm feelings for Erin, who also co-starred with him on the Happy Days spinoff, Joni Loves Chachi.
She was a huge part of my life. She was my first sort of real girlfriend. I just wish she could have found whatever that was that she needed to give her some contentment. I don't think she ever found that.
Round one, fight!
So Alexander Polinsky on Twitter. I'm trying to contact former castmate Scott Baio, and I'm having no luck. I want to speak with him about the abuse I suffered and witnessed on the set of Charles in Charge. Physical, mental, verbal, and sexual abuse. Please retweet this with maximum effort. Also, if you care about truth, if you care about kids, if you think that mental, physical, and sexual abuse and exploitation of kids is wrong, please look at the tweet above at the top of my feed and retweet. I need to speak with the man who was once my childhood idol and hero, Scott Baio. If you are in reaction to abuse, it doesn't matter how long ago, those wounds are real. I'm sending out massive love to you. Together we can bring our abusers to the light and see them crumble to dust like the vampires they are. That's fucking significant. For 30 years, I've held in the embarrassment and shame of being abused daily on the set of Charles in Charge. I had to watch other children be abused as well. It was devastating, destroyed my personality, and made me an angry person for many years. I'm not embarrassed anymore. The honest truth is I'm still working at it. There are days when I'm so angry I cannot even tweet, and days when my joyful character is an exercise in self-preservation. We must keep positive or we can become evil, hateful, and sick like the abusers. My abuser thought he was above the law, above morality, and beyond judgment. To the quiet ones, the shy ones, the different, the unique ones, and you too. Fuck the pedos, the abusers, and the sleazy womanizers. We are in charge now. If someone tortured you with vile words and physical violence when you were small, don't give up. Look at me. I survived. I never gave up. And I learned to love and laugh and dance again. You are not alone.
Round 2, fight!
Unfortunately, said Scott, I have no idea what incident or incidents Alexander may be describing. I am told by my advisors that the only appropriate venue for reporting these crimes is a special bureau set up by the LAPD, and we will be in touch with them shortly to share this article. I urge Alexander to contact them directly as they investigate many such circumstances quickly and with sensitivity.
Round 1, fight!
We started filming the show in September of '86 when I was 14, and he immediately took to me and befriended me and earned my trust. I was still 14 before my 15th birthday. We were at his house, in his car, in his garage, and he reached over and he penetrated me with his finger. And that is when the sexual touching and abuse started after that. The issue with him is that he was our boss. And, you know, he also was telling me, you know, you can't tell anybody, this is illegal, I'll go to jail, the show will be over, everybody will be sued, you know, you'll be out of a job, and, you know, you ruin everybody's life. And it's scary. That's intimidating, especially when you're that young.
Like more than 10 times?
Yeah, more than 10 times. More like probably once a week. And then on set, there was just a lot of groping, a lot of fondling, a lot of pulling me on his lap, you know, trying to sneak kisses in the back, which other cast members saw. I wasn't ready to tell my story. And for me, it was always protecting the show and protecting, you know, that whole legacy that nothing happened there. You know, that was my delusion, and that was my cover-up always. And, you know, that's not the first time I covered it up. You know, I did it my whole life. I always lied about it. Shame plays such a weird part and such a strong voice. It just, you lie. I mean, I didn't want anybody to look at me and think I was weak. I didn't want anybody to look at me and think, oh, victim. And it's not until now that I see other people coming forward and how many women I talk to that this has happened to. And it's more common than not, unfortunately. And when I talk to other women, I don't look at them and think, oh, you're weak, or, ew, you're a victim. And so it's made me realize that it's not gross and it's not embarrassing.
Round 2, fight!
Baio says Eggert first made the claims against him in 2012 and 2013 when she was promoting a reality show. He says he chose to ignore them then. But after Eggert's weekend tweets, Baio took to Facebook Live and for 16 minutes defended himself against what he called 100% lies. He admitted that they had what he says was a consensual sexual relationship after the show ended, but he says Eggert was at least 18.
And I remember her calling me and asking to come over. And coming in my house one time and seducing me. Now, any normal, heterosexual, red-blooded American guy, the outcome would have been the same.
He produced several documents and examples that he says prove his innocence. He pointed out that Eggert willingly appeared with him on his 2007 VH1 reality show. Scott Baio is 45 and single.
My name is Scott Baio. And at one time, I was a pretty big TV star.
Do you remember being on set and, like, having the Playboy magazine and, like, picking it out like it was a Sears catalog?
My reputation is being damaged. My family is being put through this. And I'm done. If you have a real claim, you go to the real people, not social media, where people like me get beat up.
And taking a look at Crazy Days and Nights, Thursday, September 27th, 2012, Erin Moran is homeless. Earlier in the summer, tabloids had plenty of stories about Erin Moran. The actress who played Joni on Happy Days and Joni Loves Chachi had been forced to move to Indiana after she and her husband lost their California home to foreclosure. The move to Indiana was to a trailer that Erin's mother-in-law owned. Since her shows went off air, Erin has had a problem with substance abuse and has not really worked any kind of job. Now her mother-in-law has kicked Erin out of the trailer, and Erin has been forced to try to find places to stay, but has no place to live. On Thursday, October 18th, 2012, like a month later, Henry Winkler helps out Erin Moran. Chachi has said he is not helping Joni, but the Fonz will. Henry Winkler, who is an incredibly nice guy, is working to get Erin Moran work again and generate some income so she can pay her bills and take care of herself. He is reportedly trying to get her a role on Arrested Development, which would also reunite her with her sitcom brother, Ron Howard. Scott Baio, who is the opposite of a nice guy, said that he doesn't care what happens to Erin Moran and that he has his own life to worry about. Blind items revealed, number 10, anniversary month. This one's pretty long, so we're just going to take what we need out of it. Maybe we'll do something else on it later. This actress, who was a B-list at the time it happened, and on a very hit network comedy show, says the tutor is the reason so many of her relationships are now messed up, and that she started taking drugs to ease the pain. This actress had one more middling show after the first. The second was a spinoff. As a point of reference, she also said that the tutor had sex with her co-star, A-list at the time, and now at Reality C, and very famous user of women, had sex with her too almost every day, even though he would sleep with different women at night. And that's Erin Moran and Scott Baio. Saturday, January 27th, 2018. Blind items revealed, number 3. I am honestly shocked that no reporter has asked for this former B-plus lister tweener turned A-minus list, mostly television actress, on a syndicated hit show, turned not much lately, but who started with some A-plus lister tweeners back in the day. Any questions? She knows everything. While you're at it, please ask her about the a-hole she used to co-star with back on that tweener show. How many times he hit on her despite her being underage? How many times he would walk in while she was changing? Nicole Eggert, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. And this sticks out to me because one of my subscribers pointed out to me that Nicole was engaged to Corey Haim, and she knows everything.
Weren't even shooting anymore. Here's the honest truth. Is I had another boyfriend.
You were 13 on the show? How old
I know,
were you
I
on
was
the show?
17. Yeah, but it was years later, okay? I was 17. I started dating this other guy, and I did not want to be a virgin. I was, like, embarrassed that I was a virgin.
And this is what Nick Ritchie has given us. He writes, I remember the day Nicole Eggert did the radio interview with me about Scott Baio. Nicole was distraught after the interview. And off air, she was an emotional wreck. She told me it was much worse than she described on air. She said he molested me as a child, and I didn't know any better.
I can't get this fucking song out of my head! Oops. Fucking stoned. I got a motherfucking spaceship. Oh!